Hi, today I want to talk about change. Specifically, I'll be more focusing on changing someone's perspectives, um, and then I'll dive a little bit more into just change in general, like change in technology or culture or society or anything else that's not an individual change. I believe that someone's worth and value as a human being is it comes from change and the willingness to do something and the willingness to listen and be open-minded. Now, closed-mindedness comes from the inability or fear to change, actually. Um, I speak from experience. Before I came to Canada 4 years ago, there were a lot of things that I thought of that I wouldn't have done back then, but do on a normal basis now. I always thought that people here were so bad, and all of them were trying like to know me for benefit, which is an idea that was instilled in my head because our culture back home was that way. Now I'm actually trying to meet new people in Canada and try to stay away from people that are the same as me, the same ethnicity, the same thinking as me as well, because that's another point as well. I think you should stay with people that challenge your thinking, but not in a way that is detrimental, but ask you why, because people can have different opinions and different beliefs than you, but you can still connect with them. You can still have a conversation with them that that leads you somewhere, or it may not, depending on how it goes. So change needs to happen, and if someone doesn't change, if someone's not willing to listen, not willing to do anything about his life, I personally think that person has no worth or value as a human being. Speaking of things that I changed about myself, ways that I changed in thinking and acting, because changing the way you think also entails changing your behaviors to things as well. It's if you have an idea about someone, it may develop into prejudice, which would lead into you changing your behaviors around them and the way you talk around them. But if you change that idea, if you change the bad perspective about the person, then you will change your behavior sooner or later. So speaking of that, I saw a very wonderful video. She puts it much better than I do, and it's from a YouTuber called Yan. I'll put the link in the description. But it's a wonderful video. Really well said. And interesting. I like when people share their experiences, and I like when people are not just share their experiences, they're not afraid, they're not ashamed, because in a lot of things, there is no wrong or right in them. You just kind of believe in them based on your experiences, your beliefs, your upbringing, and then you go on. Even if someone is wrong, to me, at least someone has an idea and he's sticking to it if he's wrong. So 2 points I want to touch on from the video. She says a few points which I generally agree with, but 2 points I want to that have touched me and I want to talk about. First of all, she says that she no longer believes in talking poorly about your previous partner, which incidentally is something that I used to do when I had a partner back then. And then it ends, I used to blame them, and then I used to say they're a bad person, they don't know what they want, they are like closed-minded, they're still a kid. And over time, with more relationship or more partners I've had, I've realized that it's okay to not to for it not to work out with your partner. You can have different beliefs, and it's fine. That doesn't make them wrong, childish. And everyone has a reason for why they do things. That's also something I used to not think about, but now I truly believe. Even if someone does something bad, they have a reason. They're not just gonna say or do anything just because they felt like it. It may appear that way initially, and they might even say it, but that's almost never the case. Because put it into perspective, if you were walking in downtown, would you just go punch someone just randomly? No, unless you were mad or something happened that week, or any other reason. But the point is that you will have a reason for doing what you do and thinking the way that you do, even if you may not know it. Um, I've had a partner, the first partner I've had, and I was like, she's too childish, she's too selfish. She can't decide. She's really undecisive. Looking back now, I hate. I don't regret saying those, but I hate the way that I used to think about it, because again, she's just another human being, and she had her needs, and that's okay. Some needs I did not meet, and it goes both ways, and that doesn't make them any more or less selfish. It just makes them human. In the video, Yan also says that if you wouldn't have said it to them then, why say it about them now? Which is again a really valid point. Continuing that argument, because a lot of things we say behind people's backs in general, not just partners, but people in general, and there is no need for that. If you wouldn't have said it or you wouldn't have thunk it while you were in it, then why do it? And especially, why go bad mouthing them behind their backs? That's also another thing. If you have an opinion, a thought, and you think about it between you and yourself, I still think that could be wrong or right depending on the situation. But as long as it's kept to yourself, if you know it's wrong and it's kept to yourself, then I'm fine with that. But going around ruining the reputation or bad mouthing them to other people, now you're actually affecting that person directly, and I think that should not be acceptable. One point, however, I disagree from the video is that she said there is no such thing as right person, wrong time. Why do I disagree with that? Again, I used to think this was all bullcrap, but now I truly think there is such a thing as right person, wrong time, because you could meet someone good, but it's the wrong time in the sense that you don't know yourself yet, or that person doesn't know themselves yet. So when you get into a relationship and you're together, and you still haven't figured out yourself, you still haven't figured out what you want in a relationship, and what your end goal would be, and how to deal with a relationship in the first place, then that relationship is definitely at a wrong time. You might enjoy it, it might last, but again, it is the wrong time, because you're not dealing with it with a clear head. What do I mean by that? I mean, when I do something now, I know myself more than I did, say 3 years ago. So I know exactly what to look in a partner and who to avoid having as a partner. Back then, I did not have that distinction, unfortunately, and I would just look for someone who just gives me that attention, which is something not unique about anyone. Everyone wants, and everyone looks for attention, and everyone wants to be seen, in fact. So that being the sole reason for me getting into a relationship is wrong in the first place. The basis itself, the foundation is wrong. So that relationship is bound to fail, or if it goes on, it wouldn't be the relationship that you would have dreamt of. So that's my opinion about that statement. Right person, wrong time. I fully agree with that, and I disagree with what she thought. But again, this is our own thinking, and I encourage that. There is no right or wrong. This statement in of itself is not right, and it's not wrong. You can think you can think of it however you like, as long as you have reasons behind that, as long as you have experiences. Which honestly, amazing video, very concise, very nice, very well put, great points all around, and she supports it in a very good way. So that's self change and individual change. I mentioned in the beginning of the video, if it's not broken, don't fix it. And I bring that point up specifically because I went to an arcade with my friends a week ago, and when I got in, I was shocked because there were a lot of digital machines. What do I mean by that? There were a lot of VR based games, and there were a lot of games where it was basically just a screen, and then when you shoot a ball into it, like it will sense that it got hit, and then it would do something, kind of like virtual golf in a sense. And to me, I feel like that's wrong because I'm not the kind of guys that say that, oh, like the iPhone is good, we don't need to advance it more, or like AI is good, we don't need to advance it. I'm not opposed to advancement in general and change in that way. But if something isn't broken, if something doesn't need to be changed, it doesn't have to be changed. Is it really necessary to change it? There are a lot of claw machines, and a lot more in that location than there used to be before. But that's fine. But the machines, the VR, we live in an age where everything is digitalized now. Everything has to be state of the art. I remember the fun of an arcade used to be the games where you throw basketballs, when you play skee ball, and then you get physical tickets. That's another thing as well. The tickets now are just on a card. And yes, there is still basketball. There is still skee ball. There are still a lot of games you play physically. And back then we did have games where it was just a gun and you shoot, point and shoot. I get that, but now we're replacing machines. They have replaced machines that were once like actual physical things, and made them digitalized, made them in a screen, and that is something I don't get so far, because it didn't need to happen. And the fun about the tickets is you as a human, you like something to be touched. Um, like, so when you touch the ticket itself, when you physically touch it, that makes you feel accomplishment, that makes you feel something. But when the ticket is in the card, then it's like, it's whatever, you get desensitized really quickly, in my opinion. But I think that will be it for my conversation. I just wanted to touch up about that. I think that it was interesting that they're starting to change and starting to move to a more technologically, I don't know how to say it, to a more advanced um, state, I guess. Thanks for listening, and I hope the video from Yan helps you think about some things.